Hey again, everyone. It's Rob Ryder on the 16th of September, 2024. I've been told recently it's been a while since I did a video, and I went and looked, and yeah, it's been, I don't think 90 days yet, but almost. And for those who showed concern, I'm fine. Thank you very much for your concern. Everything's good. Just really busy, and lots going on in the world. Yeah, some of which I'll try to get to in videos here soon enough. But in that process, I was looking at mail-in ballots for Michigan, and well, that's where the title comes from: Trumping Trump and the Republic with mail-in ballots. So it isn't just Michigan this is happening in. This problem is, I'm sure, union-wide, and it has to do with the fact that the system is not allowing the individual to register as an elector before registering to vote because they're not the same thing. You have to first register to be an elector, and electors are the ones that are qualified to vote. So if you go vote without being a registered elector, well, they just won't count your vote. So they'll, give you the form, let you fill it out, but they're not going to count it because you're not a registered elector. Now they, at the very top, they know that. And this is part of their freaking system. I'm sure of it. But for the rest of us, we just, go along with the program and say, well, no, they said register to vote. So I did. So out of this video, I hope that you will go to your state's laws and see what it takes to be a registered elector and see if you've done it. And if not, then you'll know what I'm talking about. And we need to be, raising the flags to somebody and say, hey, you got to cancel this election. Nobody's registered to be an elector. Call in the military, martial law, because we're already under martial law, have been under martial law since Lincoln as far as that goes. So we're already under martial law. Call in the military to all the Secretary of States or who's ever in charge of the elections for the state and arrest them for fraud against the United States. It's a military crime because they're not allowing us to register as an elector. And that's what we're going to be looking at. So I am Ritluski, Robert Allen, DODID number 12112800006, enlistee. Do you know that all enlistees since 1941 are still enlisted? I'll talk about that in another video soon enough. Also known as Rob Ryder, and my email address is courtofrecord@aol.com. YouTube, you find me on Rob Ryder with 3 B's, ROBBBRYDER. And today, if everything works right, I'll upload this as my first video on Rumble under Rob Ryder with 2 B's. I made a mistake all those years ago at YouTube. I didn't want to change it because I'd already done videos. And, so I just stuck with the messed up name. Okay, so let me show you what I saw, and then we'll go from there, go look at some laws, go look at another state, see if it's just Michigan doing this, or is there a chance that maybe there's a conspiracy going on across the union by all these corporate governance that's taken over? Because if we're under martial law since the Civil War, Lincoln declared martial law under General Order 141 over the United States, not the United States of America, over the United States, and it's never been rescinded. Well, according to the Lieber Code, which is General Order 101, once martial law has been declared, the only way to stop it is proclamation, order, or as an entry in a peace treaty. And none of those happened after the Civil War. It just ended in an armistice, which is a prolonged ceasefire. Same with World War I. It never ended. It was stopped in a ceasefire. So, we're at war on foreign and domestic fronts, have been. I don't know where the military is, why they're not doing what they should be doing, but we'll have to see what we can do about that. Okay, so here we go. This is the 2024 Michigan Absent Voter Ballot Application. fill this out, send you the ballot, and then you can fill the ballot out and send it in. That's how it's supposed to work. But it says in here that I am a United States citizen. Now, the Constitution calls it citizen of the United States. It does not say United States citizen. And please bear in mind, this does not say U.S. citizen. It says United States citizen. And that's got its own definition. We're going to go look at it. But that's just the first part. I am a United States citizen and a qualified and registered elector of the county and jurisdiction in the lowercase s state of Michigan listed below. Not in state of Michigan with the S capitalized as a name, but lowercase s state of Michigan, where state then is just a definition of a word, or has a definition as a word. Named Michigan, right, listed below. And so now this is what you're supposed to fill in. Voter's registration, right? Last name, first name. Well, that's just like the military. This is like the federal state. When Michigan became a state, and it's probably in every state's enacting act that created the state, not only did they create the, political state, they created a federal state, and that's why they put a federal judge in. And that's why we have these, like Michigan now has two, like the Western District and the Eastern District. It used to be just one district, and they split it. Right? Well, and that was for Michigan. Not state of Michigan, just, not as a name, but just Michigan. And this is the thing about wordplay they do all the time, right? Sometimes S is capitalized, sometimes it isn't. Sometimes the S is capitalized. It has one meaning just as the word state capitalized. But then it could be state of Michigan with words like the name of an entity. It goes on and on and on. But then you see on here, as we fill this out, then county. Well, I live in Kent, right? If I look at a map, it says Kent. It does not say Kent County. So my county is not Kent County. My county is Kent. And then the jurisdiction in that county would be the 4th District. At least it was. I have to see if they changed the borders. But I'm in the 4th District of the county. And I think this has to do with the fact that Avery versus Midland County, Texas, where in 1968, where as a result, the Supreme Court, again, it's Avery versus Midland County, but it's Midland County, Texas, decided the one man, one vote, how they were going to make that happen. Because in Midland County, Texas, it had like 5 districts. And 4 of the districts hardly had anybody living in them, and 1 district had everybody living in them, where the city of Midland was. Well, the other 4, then, they would, because they each had equal votes then, right? So you had these 4 other districts that had maybe a total of 8,000 people having 4 votes, and 68,000 people having 1 vote. And so we got to split this up different, and that's where the idea of one man, one vote came from, and they told all the states, you got to change your shit. And so for me, then, Oakfield Township can no longer be my election district because Oakfield Township does not have the same number of people as Algoma Township, which is a township just down the road. So they have different numbers of people. And so that's why they took the county and split it into districts based on population. They don't ever tell you that, but that's what they did. And so as you look at this thing, then you see that everything else is in a box except city and township. It's not even in a box. It's like it isn't even on the form then. If everything else is in a box, it isn't, then it's not part of the information that needed to be provided. Warning, you must be a United States citizen to vote. If you're not a United States citizen, you'll not be issued an absentee voter ballot. So, okay, if you fill this out and they send you the ballot and they agree that you are a United States citizen, they're not necessarily agreeing that you're a qualified and registered elector, which is the other thing you have to be. So you could very well be a United States citizen, fill this form out, get the ballot, send it in, and then when you vote, they're going to say, well, this man isn't qualified and registered elector. We can't accept his vote. And that's why Stalin said, well, it doesn't really matter who votes, it matters who counts them. Because they're not going to count your vote because you didn't fucking, excuse my French, qualify and register as an elector of the county and jurisdiction in the lowercase state of Michigan listed below. So let me show you something then. Hang on a second. So this is where we get into the registration of electors. I have to believe every state has some chapter of their state law that's going to have to do with registration of electors, and that's the part we're talking about. Forget everything else. If you ain't complied with this, you're not a registered elector. It does not matter what you do. Your vote's not going to count. So, and I don't have time to go through. I've done videos on this stuff before. If this is the first time you've seen it, I've already talked about this stuff in the past. If you go to Rob Ryder on YouTube, ROBBBRYDER, my video page, and put in elections, you'll see all sorts of videos I've done in the past that have something to do with elections. But here we go. So this is the thing, registration of electors. Well, if I need to register as an elector, how is it done? Well, it's the duty of the Secretary of State to make the proper forms for use in the registration of electors, and recommended the use of the same to the several clerks of the township, cities, villages of the state, and instructing the several township, city, and village clerks of the state as to the requirements of this act. Well, I've been to my township, Oakfield Township. They don't have a clue what this is, right? They don't know what that is. What are you talking about, register of electors? They have no idea. And then it goes down here to talk about the registration of the elector. This is MCL 168-499. An elector entitled to registration in an election precinct. Right? So now we're talking about an election precinct. We're not talking about in the township or city. We're talking about election precinct. And because the elections had to be one man, one vote, they had to change the freaking boundaries. And in Michigan, the county commissioners came back to life in 1968. And they split all the counties into equally populated districts. That's what we're talking. That's my election precinct. But anyways, an elector entitled to registration in an election precinct may become registered in the precinct by applying in person and signing the registration application for the clerk or assistant clerk of the township, city, village in which the precinct is located. For the performance of his or her duties under this act, each clerk or assistant clerk has the power to administer oaths and to swear persons to the truth of their statement contained in the application. So if you've not gone before a clerk and swore out an oath on an application form to register as an elector in Michigan, then you are not a registered elector. And you cannot comply with this. You may be a United States citizen, but you're not a qualified registered elector of the county and jurisdiction. They're not going to count your vote. They're going to let you vote. They're going to give it to you because you are a United States citizen. So let's look at that real quick. What does that mean exactly? What is a United States citizen? Well, let's take a look. In Title 42 of the United States Code, Section 9102, definitions. Title 42 is the Public Health Code, by the way. 18, what is a United States citizen? Means an individual who is a citizen of the United States. Well, that's what the Constitution says. So, okay, an individual who is a citizen of the United States by law, birth, or naturalization. Okay, that's me. I say I'm one by birth. But that's not all it is, right? Well, it's also any federal, state, or local government in the United States, or any entity of any such government, or any corporation, partnership, association, or other entity organized existing under the laws of the United States or of any state, which has as its president or other executive officer, chairman of the board, holder similar office, an individual who is a United States citizen, and which no more of its directors are not limited, are not United States citizens. Yada, yada. I don't really care about the rest of it. For this, because not only did you need to be a United States citizen, which does include a citizen of the United States, okay, that's me. That's, that was step one. But again, you got to be a citizen of the United States and a registered elector of the county and jurisdiction in the state of Michigan listed below. And they will not let you do it. But they will let you register to vote. You can be a Michigan voter registration application. Well, ain't that nice? So here we go again. I am a United States citizen. Well, yes, I am. But now it says if you are not a U.S. citizen, do not complete this form. Well, I'm not a U.S. citizen. I'm a citizen of the United States under United States citizen. We did not see anywhere where U.S. citizen was included in the definition of United States citizen. United States citizen is not the same as U.S. citizen. U.S. is a Civil War term, just like federal is, just like the federal government. That is also Civil War term, right? The proper term to use would be the Union, but they don't use it. They went to during the Civil War, because the Union was fractured, it was no longer the United States, they went to U.S. So this is for those who believe then that the United States is still at war. They would fill this out, right? That the war is not over. You're saying, okay, well, the Civil War isn't over. That's me. So you're a member of the Confederacy, basically, not the Union, if you fill this form out. So now you're an enemy of the United States. Well, go figure. Because, the United States is supposed to be a union. That's what the Constitution says. And you got to have an apartment or lot. How many people that own their house in Michigan or believe you own your house know what your lot number is? I mean, did you put that on there when you did this form? Okay, certified been a Michigan resident, right? Well, you need to be a Michigan resident, but this doesn't say anything about being a resident of your township or election district or whatever, which you had to be. And so this is like, putting us in a completely different jurisdiction by filling out this form instead of doing the registration required by the state's election law. So again, in Michigan, it's MCL 168499, registration of elector. And to register, you're supposed to do it on this a form that's been provided by it's the duty of the Secretary of State to make the form. So that would mean, in Michigan's case, then that Jocelyn Benson's supposed to have done it. Right now, she's public enemy number one because she hasn't. She's an enemy of the United States. The Army should come in, arrest her ass, and, crack the nut. Let's go. Now, to show that this isn't just in Michigan, let's look at Kane County, Illinois. Well, another shyster county clerk, John A. Cunningham. So you want to vote by mail in Kane County, Illinois, or probably anywhere in Illinois. Well, here's your choices. So let's look at, click here for vote by mail, current election mail-in application. That's what we wanted to see. Let's get an application. And this is what they're going to send you, right? So you got a place to put the voter name and voting address, blah, 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 blah. And then I state that I'm a resident of this precinct. What precinct? And that I lived at this address since when? And I'm lawfully entitled to vote in this precinct at this election. What precinct? There's no place on here for a precinct. And then when you get done, you're supposed to, it says to mail it to John A. Cunningham, the Kane County Clerk. But when you go read the law, well, that isn't what you're supposed to do. So let's go and look and see how you're supposed to do it in Illinois. Hang on a second. Okay, so this was for general election for November 5th, 2024. One coming up, right? People who are going to go wanted to vote, filled this out, don't know what their precinct is, right? It's not on here, so, you don't know what it is. So that was one choice. Then you had this other one, permanent vote by mail. So if you want to do it more than, permanently, apparently you can. And they have another form they give you. Is that what they did? So you can open up. Yeah, looks like a different form. I am currently a registered voter. Well, the other one didn't say that. This one does. But what does a registered voter mean? You'd say, well, you go, register to vote. But no, it actually has its own definition. Of course it does. That's why they use the word. Or the term, I should say. So since this one has a little more information, let's read it. I am currently a registered voter. Okay, let's find out. Wish to apply for permanent vote by mail status. I state that I reside at the address specified above in the stated precinct and county. Where is it stated? There's no place on here for precinct or county. Right? Name, street, city, zip, birth date, telephone number. I see no place to say what county it is. No place down here for the county. And, there's no stated precinct and county. That's all I can tell you. Well, and wouldn't you know it, hey, that Illinois has sectional law on registration of electors. So what is this? 10 ILCS 5. Article 5 is registration of electors. I think 10 ILCS is elections. Anyways, so except as here and after provided, whatever that means, it shall be unlawful for any person residing in a county containing a population of 500,000 or more. Obviously, then there's another section of this for places that aren't 500,000 or more, but for more, to vote at any election unless such person is at the time of such election a registered voter under the requirements of Article 5 or is exempt under Section 5-2901. And 52901 has to do with being in the military and, being out of the country. Otherwise, you have to have been registered voter under the requirements of this article. So what are the requirements? No person shall be entitled to be registered in and from any precinct unless such person shall, by the date of an election next following, have resided in the state and within the precinct. So you got not only reside in the state, reside in the precinct. And be otherwise qualified to vote at such election. The Board of County Commissioners shall appoint the place registry of each precinct for any precinct registration under 5-17. Okay, so there we go, 5-17. Eventually we'll get there. We're at 5.5 or 5.3 now. Right, but apparently that has to do with precinct registration. The county clerk may demand the chief of police of each city, village, incorporated town, sheriff, to furnish officers of the law to attend during the progress of any registration at places of registration designated by the county commissioner. Well, look at that. They want the police to be there. The county clerk shall be ex officio the registration officer of such county, right? Which, in this case, was this Yahoo, right? So he's the Kane County clerk. Apparently, that's what we're talking about. Although, see, again, it says Kane County clerk, and really the county name is Kane. The Kane clerk, or the county of Kane clerk. More wordplay. But continuing on, the county clerk shall be ex officio the registration officer of such county and shall have full charge and control of registration of voters within such county where the Article 5 is in effect. Now, see, inside here they talk about registration of voters, but the whole thing is called the registration of electors. So, to be a registered voter in Illinois, you had to have complied with registration of electors. All right, let's just mix them words up all we can. So, for the purpose of registering voters under this Article 5, in addition to the method provided for precinct registration and under 56517 of this. So anyways, you got different ways to do it. Okay, the county clerk shall provide sufficient number of blank forms for the registration of electors, which shall be known as registration record cards. Well, they tell you what the damn thing is called, but where's your registration record card? Right? I better say that because that's what it shall be known as. And what shall consist of loose leaf sheets of cards, suitable size, blah, blah, blah. The registration record cards, which shall include an affidavit of registration as hereinafter provided, shall be executed in duplicate. And of course, everybody says you need to file affidavits, right? Well, no, an affidavit is an oath rendered in writing. What you need to do is provide an application with an affidavit on it. That in your affidavit, you're swearing that your statements on the application are true. It's like a sworn statement. The affidavit's at the bottom. It's not the whole thing. It's the thing that I'm swearing to what I just said. That's the affidavit. We'll see in just a second. So the registration record card shall contain the following. This is really simply just follow the procedure from the top to the bottom and make them prove they have done this. This isn't what you need to do. This is what they need to do so you can do the thing you need to do. All right, so they got to give you a record card that has your place to put your name, your sex, your residence, name and number of street, avenue, or other location of the dwelling, including apartment, unit, or room number, if any, and in case of mobile home, the lot number. And such additional clear and definite description as may be necessary to determine the exact location of the dwelling, yada, 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 yada. Your nativity, citizenship, date of application, age, physical disability, electronic mail address, signature of the voter, signature of the deputy registrar. I may have passed by that, but the deputy registrar then is supposed to be these, like the township clerk and the city clerk and the village clerk and them kind of peoples. So they're the deputy registrar. And you get all done, and here's the affidavit of registration, right? This is, you're swearing. That's what the affidavit is. It's just the oath. I hereby swear I'm a citizen of the United States, right? Citizen of the United States. Well, that's what the Constitution says you are. If you are, so be one. This didn't say United States citizen, U.S. citizen, citizen of U.S. Citizen of the United States. That's exactly the way it is in the Constitution. I shall have resided in the state of Illinois and in the election precinct in which I reside 30 days. So what is the election precinct? Right? Because the elections have to be by one man, one vote. So it can't be, like your township, because not all townships have the same number of people. Not all cities have the same number of people. They took the counties and they have split them into equally populated districts. That is your precinct. Subscribed sworn to me before me, and then signature registration officer. So you sign, registration officer signs, then what happens? Each registration record shall be numbered according to town and precincts, wards, cities, and villages, as the case may be. Registration card shall be deemed public records and shall be open to inspection during regular business hours, except during the 27 days immediately preceding election. So right now, today, you should be able to go down and look at your registration card. Well, where is it? Exactly. Where's the damn cards at? That's the problem. And of course, this goes on and on and on. Some more about all this stuff, and I'll get into it more later. But if the applicant for registration was last registered in another county within the state, then you have another one to do. Well, nobody's been registered the way they're supposed to. And so all that is covered in this registration of electors section. Okay. Section 528, the original registration record card shall remain permanently in the office of the county clerk or election authority. All right, county clerk or election authority. Now, they use this term election authority all over in this law, and I haven't yet to find out who the hell it is. I mean, it's just so many different hits on it. But the election authority, who apparently is somebody other than the county clerk, except as destroyed as provided in 5.6, shall be filed alphabetically without regard to precincts and shall be known as the master file. So you should be able to find this master file with the county clerk. And if the county clerk doesn't have it, well, then apparently he's not the election authority. So now you know you got to go find the election authority. But they have to be around someplace. Because I believe that some people are doing this, right? I mean, the people in the know do it, right, so that they can vote and their vote counts, right? But all our votes don't count because we ain't doing this shit. Again, this is Illinois. I don't have this problem. I got my own problem. But see, here's an example. This is in that section that was talking about filling out this form, right, with the affidavit and so forth. And pretty soon you start to see, like, the election authority shall extend its hours for inspection of registration cards. Okay, well, who's the election authority? Let's see. Board hearing on objections to petitions containing signatures of registered voters in the jurisdiction of the election authority. So we really need to figure out, well, who exactly is the election authority? They're the ones that are supposed to have the cards. Registration record cards shall also be open to inspection by certified judges and poll watchers and challengers at the polling place on the election day, but only to the extent necessary to determine the question. Right? Okay, so the election authority is supposed to have these cards. Update copies, computer tapes, so forth. Data processing information containing voter registration information shall be furnished by the county clerk within 10 days after December 15th and May 15th of each year. All right, so he should have already pooped it out to somebody. They should already have their copy. Anyways, I hope you can see that, if we just blindly do what they tell us to do in these forms, then your vote's not going to count because you ain't got no stated precinct and county. You didn't register to vote. You didn't do what it said to do by the law. And it's the same for Michigan. I'm sure it's the same for, every state in its own particular way. And so anyways, I'm just trying to point out that, all right, they're trumping us with mail-in ballots by having you fill the thing out and, disqualifying yourself. And I'm sure it's probably the same with I know it's the same with walk-in ballots, whatever that's going to be. I haven't looked at it yet. I just happened to see this one particular one and wanted to do a video on it. So I'll go back and do some more research. In the meantime, thanks for watching, and I'm going to have some more videos here soon enough, I'm sure. Veteran stuff and maybe some Social Security stuff and more election stuff. But right now we got to get the military to come in and arrest all the Secretary of States and county clerks who ain't doing what they're supposed to do. All right, a little coercive force is all it would take. And all of a sudden people straighten up and do what they're supposed to do, and we could have a free and fair election. But until then, just go ahead and pull it and, tell everybody we're under martial law. Okay, have a great day. See you now.